Jimmy Kimmel making his return to late night tonight. Is that a surprise? Not to me. It happened pretty quick. Off the air for 6 days. So far, no real indication of what he's going to say, although I'll make any of you any kind of wager you want that he's not going to double down. And people who are putting that out on social media, isolate them. Look at them. They're part of the problem because they have no good reason to say that. They're only saying it to foment tension. So he put out a picture with himself with somebody who was really good to me after I got fired. We lost him recently. Norman Lear, okay? TV icon. He made all these amazing TV shows that you probably get canceled for all the time. All in the Family, The Jeffersons, Good Times. They were such windows into the struggle in America. And he put out this post with him saying, boy, we really miss him. I wonder what that is code for. So Stephen A. joins me. It's great to have you once again. We're living another relevant moment in our country together, and this was the dream for us, so I love being with you. And more success. SiriusXM, everybody is saying the show is what the place needed. The conversation for America on POTUS, awesome. Thank you. I'm not surprised, but I'm happy for you. Thank you so much. So, Rosie O'Donnell, Roseanne Barr, Rosie O'Donnell's hiding in Ireland. Roseanne Barr is not wrong to say that she was canceled by ABC after she posted a tweet that ABC found racist, okay? NewsNation senior correspondent Brian Entin gets an interview with Roseanne right now about Kimmel's cancellation. Listen to this.
What do you think about Jimmy Kimmel being pulled off the air, Roseanne, and what do you make of ABC putting him back on tonight?
Well, I guess he got a 6-day suspension, just like when Whoopi Goldberg came out with her disgusting comments on the Holocaust. She got a, 2-week suspension? It just shows how they think. I got my whole life ruined, my no forgiveness, and all of my work stolen, and called a racist for time and eternity, for racially misgendering someone, and you know, so it just shows how they think. It's a double standard, so whatever. Jimmy purposely lied, and that's for you get your hand slapped for 6 days for that.
Do you think there's anything Jimmy could do tonight? Should he apologize? Like, is there anything he could do, you think, that could, make you happy, make people sort of forgive him?
Well, I think he'll cheer himself on, and his fans, all, 2,000 of them, they'll feel heartened and, like they won another battle against Trump and the people of the United States. So it'll be a big celebration. Oh, he's back, and he'll double down. That's what they do. They'll see it as a victory.
What would you say to Jimmy Kimmel if he happens to hear this?
Well, he won't ever hear it because they live in a bubble where all alternate views or any truth is kept from them. I'm a troll. And, oh, no, I love to troll. And so I trolled on Jimmy. I go, gee, Jimmy, if you would have defended me, maybe this wouldn't have happened to you.
What's your take?
I'm so sick and tired of this noise. I got to admit it to you. You're sitting here right now next to a man that has worked under the Walt Disney umbrella for over 22 years. I have gotten in trouble. I have been suspended. I have had issues with the company from time to time in terms of what they may feel about something, but I would never speak about Disney and ABC the way that you hear her speaking about it, because the standard is the standard, and we're all aware of it. When you think about Jimmy Kimmel, for example, a person that I got a lot of love for, a lot of respect for, I filled in for him one night in August of 2021. I actually hosted Jimmy Kimmel Live, which was one of the greatest experiences of my career. And he's a great dude. He's a great, he's great at what he does, et cetera, et cetera. Not to take anything away from him, but what is considered ill-timed or insensitive these are the things that are made very, very clear to you. You know, especially if you're a fabric of under the Disney umbrella, you know these things. And so when folks go out and you say what you want to say and you think that you get to operate with impunity, chances are you never thought that at all. You were just willing to roll the dice and take a chance because you were that emotional, you were that upset, you were that compelled to say whatever it is that you wanted to say, that you felt the need to express yourself, to sort of exhale, and not thinking about the overall collateral impact and damage it may have. Let's take into account Jimmy Kimmel. Let's take into account Roseanne Barr and what she just finished saying. Yeah, you're a star and you got your money. What about all those people that work under you? What about in Jimmy Kimmel's case when Nexstar or Sinclair makes the decision to pull you off the airwaves and the other people, because I've got a bunch of friends in Hollywood, as you well know, and a lot of them were hanging outside Jimmy Kimmel Live when that show came up, when it was pulled from the air a few days ago. And you had a whole bunch of people walking out of his show wondering about their futures, wondering about their jobs, because they weren't making the exorbitant amount of dollars that he was making. What about then? And when you look at a guy like Bob Iger, who I happen to know pretty damn well, because I've been there for 22 years, this is not about society and its definition of what you're supposed to feel and what defines insensitive or what defines ill-timed or anything. He's the one that makes that decision for Disney. He's not thinking about society as much as he's thinking about Disney, because that's what he has control over. And so his mentality is going to be, we know what the standard is. We know what's going on here. And you have to operate accordingly. And you have some people along the way who have reached a point where they may not feel compelled at that particular moment to subscribe to that level of thinking under that umbrella. But you also have to know there are consequences. I'm not saying it braggadociously or anything like that. I'm the star of ESPN. I'm the face of ESPN. And everybody sits up there and say, Stephen,
like
this is Stephen. I know it does, but I swear I'm not. But people will sit up there and say stuff like that. And I always remind everybody, I have a boss. His name is Dave Roberts. I got another boss. His name is Burke Magnus. I got another boss. His name is Jimmy Pitaro. I got another boss. His name is Bob Iger. Don't think for one second that it escapes me that I have an obligation to operate with a certain level of professionalism under that umbrella, because I have people that I answer to and people that I work for. Sometimes people forget that. And a company reminding you that that is indeed the case is not foreign. It happens.
I get it.
It's happened to you, it's happened to me, it's happened to everybody else. And we just need to be reminded of that.
That's the choice you make. Now, look, to me, a lot of this speculation, not with us, but that's going on around this, is just opportunistic. If Jimmy wanted to stick to his guns, if Jimmy wanted to double down, he's not coming on tonight.
That's right.
You know, he would have said it somewhere else because Disney wouldn't have given him the platform, and it is theirs to give.
That's right.
Okay? I am here for one reason. Perry Sook wants me here. Okay, Sean Compton wants me here. Mike Korn wants me here. If they don't, I'm gone. If they don't like the way I talk to Stephen tonight, right, we get into it because, man, he is bragging about himself, and I should punch him. But if they're like, whoa, Stephen A. matters to us, and the way you talk to him is too much, man, it's not our brand, you're gone. Am I censored? No, that's business, and we know it. So the question is what he does with it. We'll see. But I will say one thing. She says, oh, he's going to double down. I will bet anybody anything. It is not a double down tonight. I promise you that. I don't know what it is. We'll watch together.
But she also alluded to a biasness, and that's where I take offense to.
Wait, hold on.
Sure.
Take it to the break.
Sure.
I'm going to do a tease because, you know, this is the face of ESPN, okay? You got Mickey Mouse, but he's got to turn sideways now for Stephen A. You know what I mean?
I'll turn sideways.
Mickey Mouse is not full front anymore. He's like this, and Stephen A's leaning in with the shoulder because he's all ripped up now. We're going to come back, and some people say 4.5 minutes, because I got to tell you something. I think Kamala Harris's book tour and what she's saying out there in 107 days, this is the moment for Democrats. But not in the way you may be thinking. I want Stephen A's take first, but I got something on this. Next. Kamala Harris doing the rounds, selling the book, saying it's a relaunch, saying it's a comeback, 107 days. Obviously, that is a reference to the amount of time she had. In terms of what this is supposed to mean to the rest of us, listen to what she said on The View.
So I do want to ask you, because you've not held back your criticisms of President Trump today. Do you think that there's anything he's done right since coming back into office? Does anything come to mind?
You know, nothing comes to mind.
Look, I think it's the same mistake, and let me just be clear. I think Democrats should have won that election.
So do I.
That is my statement about Kamala Harris in terms of, you know, her role in this. I think a Democrat should have won. What do you make of this?
Well, let me play around first by saying I am not the face of ESPN.
No, too
I was
late.
only joking around.
No.
I was only joking around.
No, you said that
understand?
stuff about
My
Mickey.
colleagues
You
are
should've heard
great.
what he said.
I am just a humble
Should've heard
servant
what he
of
said about
broadcasting,
Goofy
just like
and
everybody
everybody.
else. Stop that nonsense. Stop it nonsense.
Now let me. Snow White's overrated.
Let me get stop that. Let me get real serious about Kamala Harris. I'm incredibly disappointed with what I've seen from the standpoint of her promoting this book. Number one, she's saying things that she should have said when she was running for the presidency. She was quiet and deferred to her loyalty and gave Joe Biden much of a bigger voice than she needed to when she was indeed the Democratic nominee. She came across as somewhat leaderless at that particular moment in time, which is something that Trump was pointing out. Then to come out with this book after you lose the election, after you lose the popular vote for the first time for a Democrat since 2004, after you lose every swing state, after young blacks, young Hispanics, you know, all of those numbers dipped in Trump's favor because of you. You come out with a book and you're talking about Governor Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, who I interviewed last week. Oh, he was too ambitious. You're looking at Gavin Newsom. You pointed out how he didn't return your calls. You were talking about the tepid response that you got from Michelle and Barack Obama. You know, you talked about Biden and how, you know, it shouldn't have been about egos and all of this stuff. Nobody wants to hear this now. This is the problem. And this is why I believe her political career is over. Listen, I'm not as connected to the political apparatus as you are, but I've had some people come up to me since those quotes from her, the excerpts from her book came out. And they said to me last year, you know what a couple of people said to me? He said, we ain't taking her calls. How do we know that she's not taping them? How do we know she's not taping our phone calls? What are you doing revealing private conversations, okay? This is the kind of stuff that ends up haunting you. And so like she pointed out, she didn't have as much Democratic support as she would have wanted to begin with. It was all manufactured in the end. Once she was the Democratic nominee, it wasn't about you. It was about people who didn't want Trump to be president. It wasn't about you, and people were enamored with you, and they couldn't wait to go to the polls to vote for you, because if that's the case, you would have made it to Iowa in 2020. You would have been able to endure a primary prior to the election. But you bypassed all of that. They clearly did it purposefully because they didn't want her to have to compete for the Democratic nomination. Nancy Pelosi's on the record saying she thought that the process should have happened. It didn't happen. All of these things that she comes out and she's speaking about now, I think she's doomed. And then last but not least, listen, I got a lot of problems with Donald Trump, a whole lot of problems. I truly, truly do. But I will say this, I can't say the man has done nothing right. I can't say that the border situation hasn't improved. I can't say that I can't ignore that the economy hasn't fallen, you know, it's fallen apart. I'm still waiting for the results of the tariff war, the real results. I'm still waiting for him to resolve the Ukraine-Russian war, and it's nice to see him speak in favor of Ukraine for a change. But to say you can't think of anything that he has done shows the partisanship, how flagrant it is, how unproductive or counterproductive it is, and how she was not the right person to lead this country. And she, as far as I'm concerned, is done in politics. I cannot see the Democratic Party supporting her one iota moving forward.
Whatever that party is, we'll have to see. Three things. One, a window into the reality that two things are true at once. Joe Biden was off his game and ailing, but also completely in control of this. And he held the party hostage until he got to pick who was going to take it if he was going to step away. And he picked her, and I don't know that he had good motives or bad motives in doing it. No. He would have to explain that. But he wasn't brain dead, okay? He was in control of the whole party through this process, and it comes out in her book. Two, her mistake that may seal her fate is this book should have been about what happens next.
Yeah.
That's what it should have been. That's what a leader does. Here's what I learned from how I got here. That's the short part.
And what she should have owned.
Yes.
And what she should have owned as opposed to pointing fingers.
Take it and then do what Democrats at their best are best at, which is here's how it can be done better. That's how you get Bill Clinton. That's how you get a Barack Obama. That's how you get a Mario Cuomo, frankly, at New York. He was never supposed to win. Nobody wanted him. He was an outsider. You can do it better. That's what this book should have been about. Wasn't. And the one thing that bothers me, Democrats, You are supposed to be the party of the working man and woman. You are supposed to be putting their interests first all the time, every time. Stop saying that's what you're about until you start putting more ideas about it. And the opportunity is there. That's what bothered me about this book. What a missed opportunity.
This is the other thing that resonates with me. You have a bunch of Democrats, a bunch of progressives pointing out how Trump is a populist.
Yeah.
Obviously so. Well, what's a populist in terms of American history? It's one who basically ingratiates themselves with the common folk against the elite class. Well, he's supposed to be the billionaire that's a part of the elite class, and he came across as more relatable to the common folk
than she did.
Yeah. And she just ignores that. And so now what we have to do is look forward and recognize the fact that we don't need to pay much attention to what she has to say, because not after this book, not after the things she said in this book. We don't need to pay attention to that. What we need to pay attention to is whether it's a Mamdani, it's an AOC with the New York Senate seat, you know, it's those folks, and how much of an impact are they going to have with the vast majority of Democrats in this country who lean toward the center? Are you going to allow the fringe to pull you further to the left, or are you going to pay attention to the vast majority of Americans that are simply looking for leadership? They want affordability, they want safety. This is what they want. Those are the two primary things that they want above all else. Are you going to pay attention to that, or are you going to ignore it? The Democrats have an opportunity to show that they have changed their ways. If they don't do it, they might as well be her, which means non-existent. Because I think with this book, that is what she did to herself. I'm hoping it won't happen that way, because I respect her, but I don't see how she comes back from the things that she said in this book.
I think that's why you don't see a lot of Democrats celebrating the book. I think the party knows where it needs to be. I think the midterms are going to be different. I think there's a big opportunity, and I look forward to covering it.
Governor Shapiro said she's going to have to answer. He said she's going to have to answer for the things she said in that book.
That's right.
He said that on my show last week.
And by the way, he's going to be in the conversation.
Deborah.
Stephen A., you are the man.
All right, Mom.
Thank you very much. Continued success. Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.